y'all, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is a 90s kind of girl, and I talk everything books, music, and movie related. Today will be the first episode of a little series that I'm starting, which will consist of very short documentary series about the people who I admire, or at the very least, I believe had some contribution to pop culture in some way. And I thought no better person to kick it off with than the very fierce, elegant, and fabulous Eartha Kitt. She was fierce, fearless, and unforgettable. With a voice like velvet and a spirit like fire, Eartha Kitt was so much more than a performer. She was a rebel, a survivor, a legend. Eartha Mae Kitt was born January 17th, 1927 in a little town called North, South Carolina. Her mother was a Black Cherokee woman. Her father, white, identity unknown. From the jump, Eartha dealt with rejection and racism.
Honest way of expressing yourself. And unfortunately, I think the majority of the time, no matter how much a mother and father or a guardian may love you, they sort of suppress that inner desire to be what you feel you honestly are. And I think that a mother and father should guide you, but guide you as best they can in the direction in which you have the freedom to express yourself and be creative. I don't think that they should try to make a carbon copy of themselves out of you.
She grew up in poverty and passed from family to family until she finally made her way to Harlem, and that's where her light started to shine. In the 1940s, Eartha joined the Catherine Dunham dance company and started traveling the world. By the 1950s, she was front and center, owning the stage with hits like Santa Baby and Ceci. That voice, unmistakable. That presence, magnetic. But Eartha wasn't just about showbiz. She had something to say. People weren't used to a Black woman being that confident, that sensual, and that in control, and Eartha knew it. Then came the 1960s, and Eartha did it again. She became one of the first Black women to play a seductive, powerful character on mainstream TV. Catwoman in the Batman series. She wasn't just captivating, she was commanding, and off-screen, she gave back, teaching dance to Black kids who couldn't afford commercial schools. She founded the Kitsville Youth Foundation, a nonprofit for underprivileged youth in Watts, Los Angeles. There, students learned traditional African and modern dance, plus poise, diction, grooming, and fitness. She gave them culture and confidence. Then came the moment that changed everything. In 1967, Eartha was recommended for President Johnson's Citizens Advisory Board on Youth Opportunity. But in 1968, she shook the table at the White House. During a luncheon hosted by First Lady Lady Bird Johnson, Eartha stood up and spoke out against the Vietnam War. The president showed up unexpectedly and gave a speech.
In walks President Johnson. He puts his elbow on the pulpit that was suddenly out there, rolled into the middle of nowhere, and he starts talking about blah, blah, blah. And I raised my hand to ask questions. And obviously he was not prepared to answer any kind of questions because I wanted to ask about the Social Security that we were beginning to get into knowledge about the fact that it won't be there.
He basically said Americans didn't want the government interfering in their lives. Then he put the responsibility on moms, saying that they should work harder to keep kids out of trouble. And Eartha, she challenged him right there in that room. She asked, but what do we do about the delinquent parents, the parents who have to go to work, for instance, who can't spend the time with their children as they should? Johnson replied that the Social Security bill had money for daycare centers. Then he added, I think that I think that is a very good question for you to ask yourselves, you women here, and you all tell me what you think. And then he just left. Later after the speeches, Lady Bird opened the floor for questions, and Eartha spoke up again.
What the subject of this luncheon is all about. And I recited what the subject was. And I said one of the reasons why our boys are running away from the United States, because they come to me wherever I am in the world, and they tell me what they feel. Our position in Vietnam, they don't like it. We've been there long enough to realize we cannot win this war. It's a silly war. It's an unwinnable war, and we don't want to go. That's not that we don't love America, but we don't want to be involved with that war. So I told her what the kids had told me, the boys had told me.
Naturally, the room was tense. Betty Hughes, wife of the New Jersey governor, stood up. She said she felt morally obligated to respond. Her quote, "Anybody who's taking pot just because there is a war in Vietnam is some kind of kook." Then Dr. Bonetta Washington, another black woman and head of the Women's Job Corps, spoke. She said she could sympathize with Eartha's experience. Shortly after, the luncheon ended. Some women told Lady Bird that they were proud of her and how she had held her composure. The very next day, Lady Bird released a formal statement. The good constructive things which the speakers on the panel said were not heard, only the shrill voice of anger and discord. She added, the suggestions presented would have been useful suggestions to any women's group in the city, and I believe they wanted to know about them. Media and public turned on Eartha. People said she was chasing headlines, that her career was fading. She was 40, and this was her way to stay relevant.
It was apparently an embarrassing moment for Mrs. Johnson. Do you have any regrets about that?
No, I don't have any regrets about it at all. Why should I be upset by the fact that she was embarrassed? That's her problem.
And her U.S. career, it took a hit. TV gigs vanished, sponsors pulled out. A radio station in Oklahoma even said they'd stop playing her music. Blacklisted in America, Eartha went to Europe and Australia, continuing to perform on stage in other entertainment mediums. She performed in multiple languages, headlined elite cabarets, and was internationally adored. She never lost her edge or her voice. In 1978, she returned to America to headline the Broadway musical Timbuktu. She even returned to the White House that year at the invitation of President Jimmy Carter. In the 80s and 90s, Eartha made a full-on comeback. She hit Broadway, picked up awards, and lent her unforgettable voice to animated shows and films. She proved you can't keep a strong woman down.
Are you trying to imply that I hit it? Oh no, I see what.
Marcus, darling.
Hey, how you doing, Lady Eloise?
I don't have any panties on.
Lady Eloise, please, we have a meeting. Can we just please go?
I must ask you something.
I can't sleep with you.
Silly boy.
Oh, precious. But frankly, darling, you're a little old for me.
Lady Eastman's gotten into this bad habit of trying to run the country behind my back. And I'm thinking, that's gotta stop.
It is no concern of mine whether your family has... What was it again?
Food?
You really should have thought of that before you became peasants. We're through here. Take him away. Next! If you forget to come back for Madame Zeroni, you and your family will be cursed for always and eternity.
So let's talk about Eartha's love life for a second. Honestly, it was just as bold and mysterious as she was. She got married once to John William MacDonald in 1960. They had a daughter, Kit, whom she absolutely adored. But the marriage didn't last. They divorced in 65, and Eartha never remarried. After that, she just did her. She didn't chase love, and she wasn't out here trying to be somebody's wife for the sake of it. People say she had a thing with James Dean. There were whispers she was involved with Orson Welles. He did once call her the most exciting woman in the world. And then there's the alleged romance with Prince Reza Pahlavi of Iran. And some folks even said she was linked to Charles Revson, the guy who founded Revlon. But here's the thing, Eartha kept it classy. She never confirmed much of anything. She moved in silence and looked expensive doing it. And she never let herself be defined by relationships. She said it best herself.
People must have shown you affection and love in your life. Is it that you can't accept it?
The public and my daughter, yes. The public.
Never,
If
never,
it wasn't
never
for
a man?
the public, a man has always wanted to lay me down, but he never wanted to pick me up. And the men that did have real love and affection for me were the ones that never touched me. That was Orson Welles, Ruby Rosa.
She lived her truth and never apologized for it. Her real love story might have been with herself. Eartha Kitt was so much more than what people thought she was. Yeah, she had the looks, the voice, the stage presence, but that wasn't the whole story. She was strong, she was outspoken, she was unapologetically herself at a time when the world told Black women to shrink. Honestly, they still do. She didn't wait around for anyone to validate her. She made her own lane and then built the damn road behind her for others to follow. She passed away on Christmas Day of 2008 from colon cancer. She was 81. She was performing right up until the end. She was still booked and busy. She died the same way she lived, fighting, laughing, and in full control. To this day, her voice, her energy, her attitude, it all resonates and still inspires.
If a man came into your life, wouldn't you want to compromise?
Stupid. A man comes into my life and I have to compromise? You must think about that one again.